There are stories that live on the surface of history, and others that remain buried beneath it. Tonight, I invite you to descend, not into certainty, but into testimony. This is not the story of proven facts, nor of unquestionable truths. It is the story of a man who claimed to have seen something hidden beneath the earth, and who never truly returned from it. His name was Phil Schneider. Welcome to From Beyond, my dear.
Phil Schneider presented himself as an engineer, a man with technical knowledge, a background in construction and geology, and a history of working on projects he described as classified. In the early 1990s, he began giving lectures across the United States, not in grand auditoriums, but in small halls, conference rooms, and private gatherings. He did not speak like a prophet, nor like a performer. He spoke like someone trying, desperately, to explain something that still terrified him. Schneider claimed that the United States government was involved in the construction of deep underground military bases, vast installations buried far below the surface of the earth. According to him, these bases were not merely defensive structures. They were part of a hidden infrastructure, connecting locations across continents through subterranean tunnels. This idea by itself was not entirely new. Governments do build underground facilities, but Schneider claimed something more disturbing. He said that some of these bases were not empty. In his most infamous testimony, Schneider spoke of an incident at a site near Dulce, New Mexico. He claimed that during excavation work, his team broke into a cavern that was not natural. Inside, he said, they encountered non-human entities. What followed, according to Schneider, was a violent confrontation. He claimed that several members of his team were killed, that he himself was injured, and that what he saw in that underground space changed him forever. He would later display scars in his lectures. Injuries, he said, were the result of that encounter. Whether those scars had another origin was never conclusively determined. What matters is this: he believed his story, and belief, when sincere, can be as powerful as truth. After these experiences, Schneider claimed his life began to unravel. He spoke of surveillance, of threats, of being followed. Friends described him as increasingly isolated, paranoid perhaps, or simply overwhelmed by what he believed he knew. Here the line becomes fragile. Was Phil Schneider a whistleblower, punished for speaking too much, or a man consumed by a narrative he could no longer escape? The tragedy of his story is that we may never know. In 1996, Phil Schneider was found dead in his apartment. The official ruling was suicide. But the circumstances raised questions among those who followed his case. The method, the lack of a note, the timing. To some, his death confirmed their worst suspicions. To others, it was the tragic end of a man struggling with mental health. What followed was silence. No investigations reopened. No definitive answers emerged. Only fragments and echoes. Decades have passed, and yet the name Phil Schneider still resurfaces. Why? Because his story touches something ancient in us. The fear that we do not truly know what lies beneath our feet. Not aliens, not governments, but the unsettling possibility that reality itself is layered, and that some layers are never meant to be entered. I have told you what I know. Whether you believe it or not is entirely up to you.
Phil Schneider may not have spoken the truth, but he spoke a truth. His own. And sometimes the most dangerous stories are not the ones that are proven, but the ones that refuse to disappear. From Beyond, I leave you with this question. If something was hidden beneath the earth for centuries, what kind of world would be built to keep it there?